Hi, welcome to a video on text organization. We are really looking at the different ways that authors and writers can organize their text. First of all, let's look at the different ways. How can any text be organized? And we have a couple different ways that we are going to highlight here. We're going to talk about chronological order, we're going to talk about problem, and then a solution order. We've got headings and subheadings. We also have questions and the answers, and then cause and effect. So we're going to look at these 5 different ways that text can be organized. Typically, these are in informational texts, even though you might see some of these incorporated into fiction, and poetry has its own organizational tools. So let's look at the first one. When you are looking at chronological order, look at your root word for chrono, meaning time. So you are looking the order in which something happens. You might want to look for some signal words. First, second, third, next, last, then is another one that comes to mind. These things indicate that there is some kind of order that is going to happen, and it's important. Also look for things like dates. For example, years or times, noon, afternoon. That'll give you those clues as to some kind of order that has to do with time. Let's also look, here we have problem solution. This happens when the author explains a solution and explains a problem. We'll just correct that. And possible solution, or look, there's your signal word, solutions. That's more than one. Look for an issue or a problem. And then the author in a problem solution type essay, informational text is going to offer an answer to solve this particular problem. You might enter or you might see a counter solution, or a couple of different solutions. So you might have one problem and here's a possible solution, or you might see or this solution or this solution. So look for those things in a problem solution style text. We have heading and subheadings. This is another organizational tool, and this is how you're going to see a newspaper set up or a textbook, where you might have a very large title or some kind of central idea, and then you're going to have a subtitle or a subheading, and then you're actually going to have the article. So you're going to see and look for things in bold. These titles are going to be in larger font, and then they're going to decrease. You see you have something really big and a little smaller, and this is your traditional text in the print that you might see. So you might see something very bold, and then maybe a large, and then go into smaller titles. It could be up to 3 different sizes. And again, we just talked about this: title, subtitle, and then the article, which is your text. Titles are important. That's going to help you when you're talking about main idea or central idea. These things can kind of guide your thinking. So think of a title as a guide. It gets your mind ready for the information that is yet to come. We have question and answers. This one can be very obvious. I see it often at the back of the book. They'll ask the author. And you will see where they've actually asked a question. How did you come up with this idea? And then the author will then have some kind of response where they'll respond to the text, and it'll be this question here, and then the answer to that question. So think kind of like an interview style. And we already talked about this. There's going to be a question, and then there's going to be an answer. Look for questions to be in, and possibly, so you're going to look for questions here, question statements, and possibly a different font. They may put the question in italics. They might make it bold to set it apart from the answer. So that's a question and answer. Cause and effect. You might see this on a thinking map where you have an issue here. It might be a problem, it might be something good, but you also have causes that added to this issue, and you might have effects of this issue. So you just look for those things where you might be able to create this type of issue in your head. Notice the arrows are important. The causes here are the reason for this issue, and here are some effects. So you might have an issue of pollution. In our streams, let's talk about a science example. And you might talk about, there might be in this cause and effect type of writing, you might see what are the causes of pollution, and you can have point source solution, non-point source solution, something that caused the pollution, and the effects are going to be, what it might do to wildlife or recreational water. So those are your causes and solution. You're looking for if, then statements. If this happens, then this. Those cause and effect type statements. I think we already talked about the problem solution. We talked about that earlier, so sorry for that duplicate slide. But these are some of the different ways that you can be looking for your text to be organized. Authors want you to read their stuff. They have it organized specifically so that you can create meaning in your reading. They are going to do it sometimes chronologically. Maybe have a problem solution. You might see a heading or subheading, especially in textbooks or newspapers. You might have this question answer and a cause and effect. So these are just some of the ways that authors create meaning by creating an organized text to make it easier for you to read. I hope this was a helpful video, and good luck using it. Thank you.